Hi guys, my name is Siame and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, be sure to like and subscribe. So in today's video, we're tackling an interesting question. When's the best time someone can begin their investment? Well, I feel there's no best time, but for me I feel the second best time is now or in the middle at the beginning of a crisis. So like right now, there's chaos. People don't really know what's going to happen with this Ukraine-Russia situation. We all hope that it's going to be resolved and calm will be restored as soon as possible. We hope it doesn't escalate into something that no one hopes for, but at the same time, moments like these create so much uncertainty and they correspond with some of the best times in which someone can begin their investment. Let's say for example, when there was COVID, whatever sort of investment platform you could think of, most of them came crumbling when COVID-19 just started. So usually when there's a crisis, people are uncertain, they have their doubts, other people end up selling things at a lower price, other people need that money urgently and things like that. So sometimes a crisis can actually correspond with one of the best moments in which you can begin to invest in something. So if you have some money set aside, just be on the lookout because opportunities always come our way and it might just pay off if you invest in something right now and then get the benefits or the harvest afterwards. So yeah, in the middle of the crisis or at the beginning of the crisis, these two times usually correspond with one of the best times in which someone can begin their investment. Year in, year out, there's always at least one company that's just going to shock us on the Lusaka stock exchange. Sometimes it can be one company, other years it can be two companies. Yeah, but this year one of the shockers, for me especially, is FQM Zambia, which is First Quantum Minerals Zambia, which is a mining company. And if you've been reading the reports of the company, this year they've actually increased their production by 5%, and that's just helping even the company gain value on the stock market. So FQMZ doesn't just do mineral exploration only, but it's also a sponsor of a football club called Kansanshi Dynamos, which plays in the Zambian Super League. So FQM began the year at 3 kwacha 15 ngwe for one share, and this is, yeah, we can say this is just the second month. They've already more than doubled because right now it's going for 8 kwacha 45. Latest update, which was today, 25th February. One share of FQM, one FQM share rather costs you 8.45. Though it doesn't mean that you can go to the stock market with like an 8.45 kwacha and buy a share. Usually, if you're using the application, you see a certain error that tells you're supposed to buy like a multiple of 100 shares. So that simply means if one share is going for 8 kwacha, it would mean if you want to buy like 100 shares of FQM, it would cost you roughly 850, somewhere there. And then if you go to their offices, which is Lusaka Stockbrokers Zambia, you can find the offices in Kitwe, you can find the offices in Lusaka as well. If you go there, the minimum investment or the minimum amount that it costs you to begin investing in the stock market is usually 500 kwacha. So back when I started in 2017, it was only 300 kwacha, but then there's been inflation, there's been depreciation of our currency, so that's how come now it's 500 kwacha minimum investment. As I was saying earlier, FQMZ has increased from 3 kwacha 15 ngwe to 8 kwacha 45 ngwe. Another company you can look at is CEC, which began the year at 265 and now it's going for 345. So it's a small gain, but it's a gain either way. If a company is fluctuating a lot, for instance Zambia Sugar, which today goes up, the next day it goes down, this other day it goes up, the other day it goes down, it just shows you that this is a very healthy stock, because if a share or a company stays the same throughout the year or for a number of years, it should give you question marks and should leave you worrying like, how come there's no growth here? But if a company goes up and down, it's a very healthy stock. So Zambia Sugar is one of those companies that keep fluctuating. It goes up, it goes down. Another company that you can look out for is Zanaco. So Zanaco recently announced that they were the first Zambian bank to hit 1 billion kwacha profit after tax. So hopefully this will result into the share price of Zanaco also gaining value, because right now it only goes for 1 kwacha 95. Hopefully in the next coming months or next coming years, it's a company that's going to gain value and be somewhere at the top where if you buy shares while it's low right now, you can sell them afterwards and then make some money. So for someone who's looking forward to going into overseas investments, this here is the New York Stock Exchange, and we've picked out one company, which is, for example, Netflix, that we all know. It's a streaming site for movies and series. So this is how it's fluctuated in the last 1 month. So using this platform, you can see how it changes prices, how it's changed in the last 3 months, how it changes in the last 6 months, 1 year, and you see the difference between the Lusaka Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange. Like the prices are massive. Firstly, the differences are huge as well, because on the Lusaka Stock Exchange, the most expensive share that you have there is ShopRite, which only costs you $3.5. But when you come to the New York Stock Exchange, it's a bigger market, and the price of one share is it's way higher compared to what we have on the local scene on the Lusaka Stock Exchange. So it simply means if someone would invest in Netflix, they would get more returns. But then the thing is, the investment there is slightly higher compared to how much it would take or how much it would cost you to invest locally. So right now, companies are on the rise on the Lusaka Stock Exchange, and I'm sure it might be the same for most markets out there. But yeah, right now companies are on the rise. You see CEC every now and then it's gaining a few ngwes, a few kwachas here and there, and it's gaining value. FQM, almost each and every day it's gaining by at least 1 kwacha. Yeah, and if let's say as someone who's not really sold on the idea of investing in shares, because shares only pay you out once, sometimes only pay you out twice, there are also government bonds that you can invest in. So for government bonds, they pay you out every 6 months. So let me give you an example. Let's say you lend 150,000 to the Zambian government for a period of 15 years. So for government bonds, what happens is every 6 months they pay you out something called a coupon. So a coupon is like a percentage of that amount. So let's say if they're paying you out 10%, we can say for 150,000 that you lent out to the government, they pay you back a 15,000 every 6 months. So as long as it's 6 months, they pay you out 15,000. The next 6 months, another 15,000. Then if you lent it out to them for a period of 15 years, at the end of that 15 years, they'll now come and give you back your 150,000. So it simply means you'd have gotten back your 150,000. Then on top of that 150,000, those 15,000 coupons that they used to give out every 6 months are other gains that you can either reinvest or spend however you want. So besides shares, you can also invest in bonds. Treasury bills are loans to the government also, but for a shorter period, and the coupon rate is usually smaller because it's a shorter time frame. Yeah, so just be on the lookout. You don't want to be left behind. If you have some money set aside, or if you can sacrifice somewhere and begin your investment journey, even if it's something that's small. If you don't have money to begin to invest right now, at least begin to acquire knowledge, gain knowledge, do some research, so that the moment when you have some money to begin your investment, you can just divert some of that money that you now have and begin your investment. Yeah, so that's been it from me today. If you love this video, give it a thumbs up, share, don't forget to subscribe, and if you have some questions or some areas, some concerns or anything that you're not clear about, just leave it in the comment section down below. So yeah, thank you for your time, and lights out. For staying till the end, here's a bonus fact. So last time I talked about an application called Easy Properties that is used to invest in property. So in short, you become a landlord because you invest in property, and every quarter you get returns for your investment. But then one thing that I discovered after returning is this application is mostly suited for someone who's living in South Africa, or at least has either a South African bank account or sort of like South African residence. If you're someone who's living outside South Africa, it becomes a bit hard because the currency for the bank accounts that are used are dollar accounts, rand accounts, or Australian dollar accounts. So if you have none of those and then you don't have South African residence, it becomes very hard for the currency, let's say kwacha, to be converted to rands. So Yeah, that's the unfortunate part with this application.